this video, we will be demoing and reviewing the Commando pedal by Nerdvana, their incredible clone of the Randall Commander's preamp with some slight mods. I have a 70s Randall Commander 2 amp right here. This is the combo amp version of the Randall RG120 head that Kurt Cobain used at various points throughout his career, notably very early on in the Bleach era. This is an amazing sounding amp that I sadly haven't been able to fully capture. I share walls with neighbors and have two very young kids, so it's very rare when I'm able to use this amp, and when I am, I can't go loud at all. I think the furthest I've gotten so far is like 1.5 on the master volume. And to add on to that, it has a consistent hum that I've been meaning to have an amp tech check out ever since I've gotten it. And my music room that I record in here is really tiny, which is not ideal for miking a guitar amp, especially when it's such low volume. So it's always bummed me out because in person, this amp here sounds incredible. And it's perfect for those early Bleach tones, but because of the reasons I listed off, I haven't been able to fully capture it at its full potential. So Nerdvana's Commando pedal is really a godsend because it replicates the sound of this amp perfectly and is now allowing me to record those sounds direct and crystal clear. Before we get into it, I want to give a general overview about what a preamp pedal is and how you use it, as I've been getting a lot of questions about it ever since Nerdvana originally announced this pedal. A preamp pedal is essentially designed to serve as the initial stage of an amplifier. My Randall Commander is made up of three main parts: the preamp, the power amp, and the speakers. So this pedal is a clone of that first section, the preamp, which is the part that most controls the overall tone that you get out of the amp. So to use a preamp pedal, you do need the two other pieces of the equation, a power amp and speakers or a cab. So there are many ways you can implement a preamp pedal into your setup. The most ideal setup is having that pedal be the last one in your chain, going into a power amp, which is then going into speakers or a cab. Keep in mind that all three pieces of this equation add some level of distortion and color into your sound, so there are a lot of variables at play here. Another ideal setup would be to have the Commando running directly into your amp's effects loop return. Those would probably be the two best ways to use this pedal, and unfortunately I can't really do either, as I'm not in a place where I can have a power amp that's powering on a loudspeaker, and my twin reverb does not have an effects loop. But I have found two other ways to include this in my setup that I will be showing you, and you will hear for yourself that through either of those scenarios, this preamp pedal is giving me those awesome early Randall Nerdvana tones. But let's go through the functions of the pedal before we start playing through it. The preamp gain has been tweaked for a smooth sweep, and the center channel switch is a diode clipping switch. Up is less, middle is none, down is stock. This subtly changes the compression and clipping characteristics, allowing you to dial in anything from crystal clear cleans to crunchy overdriven cleans that are extremely reminiscent of the Dale demo. There's master volume, treble, middle, and bass controls, but where the magic happens in my opinion is the volume knob. It's essentially a gain control. The higher you go, the more overdriven your clean tone gets. The first method, and the way that I have been personally getting the best results, is having it on my pedal board and running into my twin like it's any other pedal. Having two preamps running at once can get overwhelming and they can start to clash, making it hard to try to find anything that's usable. Nerdvana founder Enrique suggested that I use these settings on my twin to essentially nullify its tone stack. Treble and bass at 0 and middle at 10. Now my twin has only one tone stack going instead of two. Using both along with the Commando could cause for a massive mid scoop, which is something I really want to avoid. These settings make my twin itself sound very dry, neutral, and bland. But it then creates the perfect platform for the Commando to take over and to create the illusion that my twin is now a Randall. Not only does it do those crunchy cleans, but it takes distortion pedals exceptionally well, particularly the Boss DS1. Kurt used his Randall Commander for Nirvana's first studio session, which resulted in the songs that are now known as the Dale demo. These are the first tones that I try to dial in with this Commando pedal, and it completely nails it. So while this is particularly strong for those early pre-Bleach sounds, it more than covers the ground for all the other Nirvana eras. My second method is to run it direct into my DAW to use with an amp sim. DAW or DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation. So it works great for running your guitar into any recording software while using a cab or speaker simulation. Here are the same settings and songs that you heard previously when I was running this pedal through my Twin, but now I'm going straight into my interface while using a cab simulator. This is the 4th Nerdvana pedal that I've had the honor of reviewing and demoing. I love all their pedals, but this one really is a game changer. I now look at my twin as basically having like 2 different personalities now. On one hand is the sound of my twin running through my Mesa Boogie 5-band EQ pedal. And on the other hand is the Commando taking over the nullified settings to give it a completely different character and to now make my Fender sound like a Randall. This pedal can be used in many different ways, but as I said previously, it has solved my long time problem of trying to fully capture those Randall sounds, particularly the cleans, with clarity. Hands down, easily my favorite Nerdvana pedal so far, and one that will never leave my Nerdvana pedal board. Now with a simple click, I can get those overdriven and aggressive Dale demo cleans that my Fender Twin simply can't do on its own. Huge, tremendous shout out to Enrique over at Nerdvana for sending me this and just for creating this awesome pedal in general. Be sure to check out Nerdvana's Reverb shop to get your own Commando. It'll be linked here and in the video description. Thank you so much for watching, and an extra special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nerdvana Guitars, and subscribe and check out my other Nerdvana gear videos right here on YouTube.